Hello class and welcome. I am Kyle McCallum and my partner Jonathan McCallum. We're here today to present to you project management and a software demonstration for project management. So first things first, we have to discuss what is project management. So what is a project? A project is a temporary sequence of interconnected activities with a goal that is to be completed within a specific amount of time. Project management is defined as the process of controlling the development and cost of a systems project. Project managers is the person responsible for supervising a systems project from initiation to conclusion. Project management is really needed to help predict and prevent future problems for that project development team that they may run into. Project managers are primarily responsible for evaluating the big three interdependent variables that are involved in a project. These three variables are scope, schedule, resources/budget. So if you consider these three variables to be connected as vertices of a triangle, then one variable cannot change without affecting the other two. This is a key concept in expectations management. Why is project management needed? So we need project management because there was the software depression, which software depression really took place during the early 1990s, where software that was developed over the last few decades have required constant maintenance and updates for functionality. Some of the problems have been correcting the faults that have been present in these software, implementing new user requirements, modifying software to run on new or upgraded systems from legacy systems. So the software depression caused software development resources and effort to be utilized at an alarming rate. This advent caused a need for tracking the progression of software development. So here I list some of the common reasons for project failures, and a project can fail or it can be a success. And it's determined to be a failure when you have changing business requirements, you don't appropriately apply your methodology, your project was underestimated during the initial assessment phase, the risk assessment and project feasibility were not reassessed during the course of the project, change management problems, which is basically all that project management is designed to do, is to manage the changes that happens throughout the course of a project. So now that we've determined what causes a project to be a failure, here's some of the criteria that causes a project to be considered a success. Generally, a project is only considered successful if it's delivered on time, it's delivered within the budget, it's accepted by the customers, users, or managers as the result of the project, because a project's not going to do you any good if the resulting end users aren't going to want to use it. The system was developed with minimal impact to the daily business operations. So these are basically impact to operations that are not directly associated with the project, because when you pull in stakeholders and potential users, you're pulling them away from their day-to-day business operations, and you're trying to make within your project a very minimalistic amount of impact on those operations. So as I defined earlier, project managers are the ones that are primarily responsible for managing expectations within a project. They're also the ones responsible for communicating with executive management and getting team commitment. Here's just some of their more general functions. They're involved in the scoping, planning, estimating, scheduling, organizing, directing, controlling, and closing of these projects. So scoping is basically setting the boundaries of the project. A scope of a project is something that defines what the project is designed to do and what you're trying to accomplish with this project in very layman's terms. Planning is basically identifying the tasks required to complete the project, estimating, identifying the resources required to complete this project, scheduling, develop a plan to complete the project. And this is particularly a step that can be problematic because you can underestimate when you're scheduling in the early stages, and that can cause problems for your project later on in terms of managing expectations. Organizing making sure members understand their roles and responsibilities, directing, coordinating the project, so directing team members, delegating tasks, controlling, monitoring the progress of the project, closing, assessing success and failure. This is particularly important because you have to know if the project was a success, and if it was a failure, you need to understand why it was a failure to begin with so that you can have more premonition when it comes to the next project. Some common tools for project management that project managers use to help identify how long a project's going to take are typically the PERT chart and the Gantt chart. A PERT chart is a program evaluation review technique chart that models the interdependencies of tasks that shows the critical path for a project. This just means that it depicts the shortest possible time that a project can take to get to completion. PERT charts can be more complicated to use than Gantt charts, and they are particularly more difficult when used in very complicated projects. A Gantt chart is most commonly used tool in project management. A bar chart used to show project tasks and their potential time requirements, and it just pits this against a calendar. So project managers use these project tools like PERT chart and Gantt chart in order to ascertain the shortest duration for a given project. So they do this typically in project management software. And the project management software functions to help the project managers automate their tasks, track task progress, track the budget, assess critical tasks, set the task priorities, update the documentation. The project management software enables project managers to help with their activities, which are negotiating the scope, identifying tasks, estimate task durations, specify inter-task dependencies, assign resources, direct the team effort, and monitor and control the progress of the overall project. Here's some examples of project management software. The examples are Microsoft Project, Case Tools, Zoho Projects, Liquid Planner, Workfront, Trello, which is actually a free web-based project management software, Odoo, which we'll be demonstrating for you today. Project management solutions can either be web or license-based software. Potential problems with web-based solutions revolve around cost, cloud-based security, confidentiality issues, and potential problems that may exist with being dependent upon connecting to the internet, because if your internet goes down within your corporation, all productivity will come to a screeching halt. Microsoft Project does a great job of managing all your project management solutions. It does a great job of tracking the budgets of these projects, can very easily assist the project manager in assessing potential budgetary issues should certain sprints run past their expected deadlines. So as I mentioned earlier, we will be demonstrating for you today Odoo web-based software. Now, Odoo is a potential ERP solution for companies that can help aid in project management, but it's not limited to just project management. Odoo can create projects and manage tasks within those projects, aid in the project planning, managing service contracts, and helping with productivity without stress. So Odoo can help creating projects and managing the tasks. In the project management module in Odoo, it provides you with a very flexible workflow which enables you to analyze time plans, plan and organize tasks, prioritize tasks, assign tasks to users, delegate tasks, structure your projects into phases, manage your budgets, control your invoicing and managing your contracts. You can create projects, add team members, view information about planned time and actual time spent on each task, escalate tasks if you need to, track issues and bugs, calculate project timelines through Gantt charts. You can directly generate invoices based on the time spent on the tasks by linking it to the project timesheets or analytic accounts. Odoo allows you to study customer satisfaction by creating questionnaires from the survey module. You can also calculate a project plan for earliest delivery using task ordering and the working time. Now this kind of replaces their version of a PERT chart. In Odoo, you can plan your projects with long-term planning. You can link your tasks to your planning to have a great view of who will do what at a specific time. The traditional phased approach identifies the sequence of steps to be completed. Phases, which is an open source tool based on Python, is a library that is used for scheduling phases and tasks based on calendar resources. Resource availability or resource leaves are tracked using this tool. The Gantt chart allows you to easily manage your resources and plans by simply dragging and dropping. The calendar view also helps you to map your deadlines and tasks that need your attention the most. As I mentioned earlier, Odoo can help managing service contracts. The types of contracts Odoo can manage for you are fixed price contracts, cost reimbursement contracts, which can be invoiced when services are completed. Monthly fixed contracts can be invoiced monthly as services are carried out in terms of fixed quantity rather than fixed prepaid hours. So Odoo Project Management makes it very easy and simple for you to manage all these contracts and associated services, and the flexible nature of it provides you with the ability to manage different types of contracts very, very easily. Odoo productivity without stress. Odoo users have reported convincing results. A reduced amount of tasks are typically forgotten. A reduced stress due to the increased situational control. Change of the priorities and types of daily tasks carried out. More notice taken to urgency and importance of tasks. Better task selection and delegation management. So Odoo provides you with the tools to improve your own personal time management, because good organization is the key to better productivity in your daily work. Odoo helps you to de-stress and manage time efficiently by helping you to segregate and prioritize tasks that are urgent and those that are important. In Odoo, urgency is given by the deadline of the task and the importance of the priority. And now I'm going to hand it off to John to give you a demo of what Odoo has to offer in terms of project management.
Thanks, Kyle. So to talk about some of the topics that my colleague has discussed here, this is the home screen that you'll see when you log into Odoo for the first time. Now, Odoo is a cloud-based ERP solution that supports many different types of modules for varying business applications, and some of these will feed into project or enhance project as a whole. One of those being namely employee, where you can specify the different types of people that will be a part of your team that will be helping to implement the solution. You can create these employees and give them different types of identifying information and specify different things about that person, whether or not they work the standard hours or if they are a part-time employee. Once you have your team assembled, though, we'll go back out to the portal. When you click project, you're now in the project settings to where you can start specifying phases, activities, and tasks. So if you are experimenting with an agile methodology, typically you'll want to break these types of phases into 2-week sprints. So in our case, I have an arbitrary example already set up for a data science development team. So it allows you to specify the activities that are going to comprise this initial phase, this 2-week sprint. And within each one of those activities, we can specify additional tasks. We can also specify additional subtasks, things that we know we have to do in order to support the task, and also assign values to this. To give a demonstration of adding activities, we can go over here and we can add a new column. And we can call this something meaningful in terms of what would be next steps. for this particular phase. And I'm going to write here develop BI solution as one of the potential phases or activities. And so now we have a new activity added. We can then add additional tasks to this. So I'm going to call this build Tableau dashboard. So now we have a new task. But this task isn't assigned to anybody. So we'll have to edit and specify somebody appropriate to handle the work, a potential deadline, and we can write additional information in here should we need it. We could add things like different requirements that are being asked for from our stakeholders in regards to the UX experience for this dashboard. And I can create a forecast for this particular activity. So I can say that again my data analyst is going to be the employee handling this. I'm going to specify a time that he'll be working on this. And a planned number of hours that we can expect that he'll be working on this for the next 3 days. We can then specify that we want to add additional subtasks. So I need to do something. We could call this maybe a meeting with stakeholders to discuss UX. And now our task has been adequately added to our activity. Currently we don't see any blockers. We could say if there was something that might be in our way, we could specify some sort of flag to let a team know that development might be slowed or may need help in some regard. So we can specify that by clicking this little dot here. Then as a project manager, the natural question is to ask, well, how is all of this work being distributed? So we can look at this by user or by project. So let's just look at user, for instance. I'm going to scroll over and see that we've got differing percentages of time added to each one of these users. So these people are going to have some percentage of their time working on certain things to help implement the solution. And we can see at varying levels of granularity what exactly is being done to help with that process. So here we are at the Gantt chart for the project as a whole here, and we can see this all rolled up to the actual use case, or we can start looking at the individual tasks that are going to be associated with this whole project and break it down further. We can also do some task analysis, so we can see how many tasks do we actually have going on in this sprint and break it up by differing users that are going to be helping to implement the solution. We could say we want to look at working days that are assigned here and see who are assigned for this particular working days. We could also change the view of this. Instead of a stacked bar chart, we could say grouped, or we could also say look at this in form of a pie chart. Varying differing ways in order to visualize what is happening in regards to our project. We can also look at our forecast analysis, where we can see very broken out numbers of hours that each person is being asked to contribute to this particular sprint. We could roll all this up to a total amount, or we could roll it up to a specific employee, or we could do a start date to see when things are being asked to be done. We can also see what activities we have coming up. And we could also query and create some things to solidify as being quote unquote my tasks. We can also look at a breakdown in regards to a chronology of our differing sprints. So we might have differing projects in which these people are being asked to balance differing prerogatives, and this will keep track of the time spent on those differing projects for each of these people. So there are some limitations to this tool. It's not really good at appraising costs or things like that from just an out-of-the-box scenario. But we could add additional functionality by looking up the differing types of apps that are in the Project Odoo App Store. You could download these and integrate them with your standard installation in order to provide additional enhancement to what project can do. And Odoo also supports this for other types of modules that handle differing types of business processes. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Kyle.
Thanks, John, for your demonstration. Odoo can provide a business with ERP or enterprise-wide resource planning solutions for functions that range from customer relationship management to supply chain management. Additional functions based on paid-for features that depends on the number of expected users using Odoo. A basic disadvantage to using a product like Odoo is that it is a web-based service and it's very dependent upon internet connectivity. This can be problematic with privacy and security concerns. However, it can provide a strategic advantage due to the lack of concern over physical storage space in implementing databases and information systems as a whole. The project management module within Odoo provides all of the functionality that we would expect within a software used for project management. The free version of the project management can be a good resource for small businesses that do not have the budget to spend on expensive software licensing. Odoo Forecast Analytics can provide enhanced resource allocation. Project managers can easily see if one or more particular resources are over-allocated within a specified time period. Another cool function Odoo Project Management module offers is when a task is delegated to a specific employee within Odoo, it will send an automated email message to the account that is associated with the employee to notify him that a new task has been assigned or created for him. Feel free to check out Odoo in your free time and see the full capabilities that they have to offer. I hope that this presentation was helpful and informative to the audience. Comment if you have any questions regarding project management or Odoo in general, and John or I will try to get back to you in a timely fashion. Thank you for your time, and thanks for watching this video.